So I'm going to talk about how to earn 10 to 15K a month passively in 2023. This is one of a couple really big opportunities coming. And what we're going to talk about is with Amazon. As you all know, Amazon is only growing. It is literally the fastest growing company besides, I think, Apple. So um, Amazon's not going anywhere for at least the next 5, 10 years. If anything, it's growing because you see more and more people wanting that convenience of things being delivered to them. I would say, just personally, actual brick and mortar stores are going to be a thing of the past. I'd say in 20, 30 years, people are just going to altogether stop going to stores. So in this, it's a lot of information. Let me break down everything that we're going to talk about. So what exactly is Amazon FBA? What does that stand for? How does wholesaling work? How this is different from other e-commerce strategies. So e-commerce meaning you're selling products online. How to get your own store, how to make it so it generates you 5 to 10K a month, and then how to make a 6 to 7 figure exit. That 6 to 7 figure meaning 100,000, a million or more exit. I know it sounds too good to be true. There is a lot in here, so I'm gonna definitely let you know how this works. I got excited, and around March, I decided I wanted to go into Amazon. I wanted to start selling. I was going to do it all on my own. And so what I did was I started researching companies, researching the process. And what I found was the biggest thing, the difference between people who were doing a lot of money on Amazon and people who were not, was the product. If you don't have a good product, it's not going to sell, right? So I knew that picking the right product was the most important. I got a couple of different softwares, really tried to do whatever I can. Ultimately, I needed help. So I remember seeing this ad for a company that would literally pick the product for me. Like, and it was going to have a 5 to 10x my whatever my investment was on that product. I thought it was excellent. So I ended up, purchasing this, which came with a course, which I thought was cool. 3 months later, after several emails back and forth, like, hey, where's my product? They finally sent over a literal PDF, 1-page PDF. And this is what it was. And at the bottom, it says, this photo is just an example of the type of product you should be looking to source. Like, this gives me nothing. I wanted to start a whole business. You literally took a picture off the internet, put it here, gave it to me, literally felt scammed. I was like, what is this? I want my money back. Still negotiating that. This PDF cost me 9 grand. So what's the point? There's a lot of people out there trying to get people to sell them on courses, sell them on mentorships. Ultimately, it's still on you. If you're trying to do this yourself, you definitely can. I know a lot of people who have success doing this themselves. So frustrated, I kept moving on, and I actually met another gentleman, young guy, 21 years old, e-commerce phenom. His name's Jason Masry. About 4 years ago, he was working at Wendy's, 15 bucks an hour, working 50, 60 hours a week. Knew that there was bigger things for him. So him and his partner, Renee, started up a company and started making Amazon stores. So then I had a conversation with him, and I'm going to show you exactly what he showed me in how I got started working with him. So before I even had a call with him, obviously I'm the type of person I like to do my research. I jumped on, his pages and looked up the business. Everything looked legitimate. And then I started seeing like some results, some testimonials. This is a picture of one of his stores that did $250,000 in sales. Look at the dates, 11/20 to 12/20. That's in 1 month. This store did 600K from September to December, so about 4 months. And then in 6 months, this store from June 20th to December 20th did $1.3 million in sales. And I was like, wow, That's really impressive. How are you doing this? Like, I had so many questions. So that's when it led me into, a meeting with him, and he showed me exactly what I'm going to show you right now. Um, Here's the process, and it's completely done for you. So if you're thinking, how can I do this? I have literally no idea how to start an Amazon store. I have no idea how to run a business. Perfect. You're in the right place because this is completely done for you. So, as like I said before, most people are trying to sell you courses, maybe mentorships. Ultimately, it is not helpful. It's on you to really, really have your success. It could be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars spent on products, courses, like everything. And at the end of the day, it's not passive because you're doing everything yourself. And I'll be honest, it stressed me out. Like, I just lost 9 grand for like literally a PDF. So here's how what he does is different. This is not just a drop shipping store. Those of you who don't know what drop shipping is, that basically is anytime you're looking on Facebook or Amazon, Instagram, and you're scrolling and you see a product, it'll be a sponsored ad. You click on it, it'll take you to another page. And that's where you would purchase that product. How did you get there? People are running ads. So in order to get people to your item or your store using drop shipping, you literally have to run ads so people see it. It's not on Amazon. That's not what this is. Actually setting you up a digital asset, think of it as a piece of online real estate. So this is completely automated, makes you passive income, and you can actually physically go there. We have 3 locations. The main one is in Orlando, Florida. So I'm going to explain how this all works. This is completely done for you. No stress. We handle everything from customer service, from order fulfillment, literally A to Z. You do nothing. When I say nothing, I mean literally nothing. You can go about your day. You can be teaching, writing music, playing your Xbox. It doesn't matter. You have a business that's literally generating you income in your sleep as you go to work. It's completely passive. You don't have to do anything. Just want to emphasize that, which is why this intrigued me. I'm super upfront about everything. You all should know the costs of like how this all works. In order to set up a store, think of it as a franchise. If you want to go ahead and set up a McDonald's store, to pay for those golden arches, you have to pay like $1 million. That does not cover the inventory, the staff, the burgers, the fries, none of that. It's just literally to use the storefront. So that's what we're doing. It's a $50,000 franchise fee to have a store set up and run for you for 2 years. This is a screenshot of my store. I'll actually show you live my store here in a second. But it's actually completely like run for you for 2 years. Once your store is set up, which takes about a few days to a week, it's really, really simple. What we then do is move into phase 2, where we start purchasing your inventory. So what we buy are like brand name household items. People are already buying these things. We get them at wholesaling prices, and then we sell it for retail. So I have an example here. Let's say you want to buy a coffee mug. We have a wholesaler that can sell that mug to you for $5. Well, guess what? That mug on Amazon sells for 15. So then $10 is your profit. And people are doing this every single day. Anything you buy on Amazon, somebody is reselling it to you. They're making a cut of the profit. About 150 million people shop on Amazon every single day. 150 million. That's about almost half the country every single day shops on Amazon, right? So what's the point? There's not a lot of competition out there. There's plenty of buyers. Once your store gets going, then it starts to scale. You see those numbers, it's like, wow, how do they make $600,000 a month? Well, the number one reason is how much product do you sell? If you have a store, you want to make sure your store is filled. Your shelves are stocked. If you go into a store and the shelves are empty, not going to make any sales. So you can't put $5,000 into inventory and expect to have a $1 million sale. That's just not realistic. But you can put $50,000 into inventory and expect 60, 65 in sales. 10 to 15 is your profit. It's not will it sell, it's how fast will it sell, because we know it's going to sell. So the other reason is at the beginning when you're setting up a new store is it takes a minute for it to get going, because when you're a brand new store, they gate items. And all that means is you can't sell every single item at the beginning. So I like to tell people, allow it 3 to 4 months for it to really, really start taking off. Allow more products to become ungated. Month 1, maybe you start with 1 to 3 products. By month 3, 4, you're selling 8 to 10 products. By month 6, you're selling 20. And then just from there, you can kind of understand if you have more items to sell, and you have more money going into items, you're going to just start making more sales. Plus, by then you'll have positive reviews, comments. Your page will literally be up at the top. It'll be like one of the first choices when people shop for an item. Yours is right there. So then the last phase, honestly, is your exit. Some people like to sell their store at the end of 2 years working with us. So what we use, we have lots of websites that we use to sell these stores on. A big one is called Flippa. Now, Flippa actually takes how much you make in profit on a monthly basis and determines what you can sell it for. So let me give you some examples. This is a store that's 4 years old. It makes about $3,000 a month profit. Now, in our model, that means you're putting up, I don't know, 10,000 in inventory. So you're making about 13,000 a month. 3 of that is profit. You can sell that for $95,000. Pretty good. But y'all, I'm not here to show you how you can just get your money back. I want to show you how you can make a big exit, do a big deal, right? This store's been on for 2 years. They net about 13,000 on average a month in profit. Now to get there, you have to put about 50, maybe 55,000 in inventory. So that means you're doing about 65 in sales. 13 of that is profit. You can sell that for $500,000. For example, here's a couple more. This one makes 11,000 a month. Sell it for 536K. This one does 16K a month. Sell it for 690,000. But it gets bigger. The more you sell, the more profit you have per month, the more you can ask for it. This has $136,000 in profit a month. You could sell it for 2.5 million. Now you might think that's crazy. There's no way I'd be able to do it. Well, it is possible. In our model, 136,000 profit would mean that you're putting in roughly $1 million into inventory. So you put in $1 million, get 1.13 in sales, you're making about 136,000 a month in profit. This isn't sales, this is profit. You can sell it for 2.5. And people can justify this because they say, look, if I'm making that a month, I'm going to make my investment price back within a year, right? So this all comes down to inventory. At the end of the day, we have a 20% margin on the low end. Usually 20 to 30% is what our company actually shoots for. So let's just go on the low end, 20%. So if you started with $5,000 in inventory, you're going to make $6,000 in sales. You made $1,000 profit. Easy. If you put all of that profit back in, plus your initial 5K, which isn't any additional money, it's just the same money you used before, then you make 7,200. Then you make 80, and you can kind of see the pattern here. You can get up to a large amount if you keep reinvesting the profits. Now, maybe by the second year, you want to take a little of that, put it in your pocket, totally fine. At the end of the day, this is your store. You control where the money goes. Do you want to put it back in the business? Do you want to put it in your pocket? You own the store. Now let's look on the extreme end. Obviously, this is all relative. Let's say you started with 50,000 in inventory. At a 20% minimum return, you're going to make 60K in sales. That's 10K in your pocket. One of the reasons I said, hey, come show up today and I'll show you how to make 5 to 10K a month. Well, get to 50K in inventory and there you go. Now you can get to 50K here, starting with 5,000. It'll just take you a full year. If you're cool waiting, that's no problem. But putting more in at the beginning actually reduces your time. We have $1 million stores. We have multiple $100,000 stores. I like to show people, what is your typical average client doing? Typically, people are doing anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000 a month. That's on average. So if you're doing 30,000 in sales, that means you're putting up about 22, maybe 24,000 in inventory. Cool. That's what it's going to sell you. You're going to make, I don't know, 6,000 to 7,000 in income, in passive income, in profit, however you want to look at it. All right. So just to review, it's a 50K investment for the franchise to run for you for 2 years. If you break it down, it's like 2K a month to have your business run for you, completely passive. You do absolutely no work. We have to start with at least 5K in inventory. I personally suggest starting with 25. That's where I'm at. I started with 25. Well, I started with 5, added another 20, so now I'm at 25K. Think of it as a store. You need to fill your shelves. You fill your shelves, you can sell your products. You make a minimum of 120% return on investment. So you put 10,000 in, you're going to get 12K at the back end. You're going to get it back, right? 2K profit. You can use any example you want. It's 20% of whatever you put in. Now, here's a really great thing about working with us is we have a buyback clause, which states anything that's on your store for 3 months, once it hits 90 days and it doesn't sell, we actually buy that item back for you. Jason and his team are so confident in the products they pick that they know they're going to sell it out. And as far as I know, they've only needed to buy back 1 item in the last year and a half. So that's pretty good. And even still, the owner of the store got their money back. Sure, they didn't make the sales that they could have, but they didn't lose any money. So at the end, you have 3 options. You can either take your store over, run it yourself, which I assume nobody on here wants to do, because if you were interested in it being automated, why wouldn't you just start doing that? So probably not for you, but that's always an option. The second option is you can renew our agreement and do it for another 2 years. Nice part about that is there's no franchise fee needed for renewal. Or the third option is you can just sell your store. You can list it on Flippa, a couple other websites. We have a couple private Facebook groups that we are dedicated to people who just want to buy Amazon businesses. So you really have 3 options at the end. Okay. So I'm sure some of you might be thinking, sounds really great. Love to make extra money, free up some of my time, but how can I afford this? And let me just say, I'm with you. I didn't have $50,000 to start. I'm going to teach you about the 3 most important letters you guys are going to learn all year. It's not the MLB. It's not the NFL. It's not NFT. 3 most important letters. If you're taking notes, write this down. OPM, not the drug. Stands for other people's money. So when people want to do this deal with me, I say, hey, cool. Do you want to use your own money or do you want to use other people's money? Meaning the banks, right? Your money is savings, personal credit, equity in your house, stocks, 401k,
credit unions,
right? Anything like that, any of your own money. Cool, you can, no worries. Or use other people's money, loans, lines of credit, business credit. And that's what I did. I got a bunch of business credit established. Oh, I've got my stack here. All right. $100,000 in business credit, not my own money, but guess what? It's generating me income. So how do you use it? How do you get other people's money? It's super simple. and it's something that we partner with another company to show you how to do it. Basically, in a nutshell, you create a business, form an LLC, super easy to do. You apply for funding through banks and credit unions, and even a brand new business can get business credit. So, what are the requirements for getting business credit? You need a good personal credit score, 700 or above. Now, if that's not you, you can use someone else's credit as an authorized user, meaning that somebody else can sign on as like a guarantor for you. How much money can I get? Typically between 50 and 150K. If your credit's really great, 150K is like the starting. It can really go up from there. So how do we get you this money? We have a strategic partnership with OrangeFi. OrangeFi is run by CEO Sebastian Boyer. When I tell you guys this guy's a literal credit genius, it's an understatement. I had worked with a credit guy for about a year and learned a lot. I talked with Sebastian for 40 minutes and learned more in that 40 minutes than I had in that whole past year. I thought I knew a lot about business credit until I met Sebastian. Okay. He's literally known on the internet as the approved guy. He's funded over $400 million in the last 10 years. When he gets you funding, he looks at 12 different sources, including business credit. And in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, he's the best, or at least one of the best in the business credit game. So here's what you do. If you're interested in using other people's money, you submit a pre-approval application. You get a call from Sebastian himself. He tells you what your options are. Within 7 to 30 days, you get your funding, set up your store, start receiving passive income. I don't want to overcomplicate and tell you every little nitty-gritty detail that goes into this, but that's it. There is no catch. You are using credit. You are using somebody else's money. And the only thing that is required is just courage. You just have to have courage to sit with debt. But if you have student debt, you have mortgage, you're used to sitting with debt. Now with business credit, there's a lot of benefits. Now, personal credit has great benefits, of course, but hey, if you have a $10,000 credit card, you max it out, your credit score drops. It really affects your ability to get funding, get any approvals. It really does hurt you. Business credit works a little differently. They're much higher limits, so they could be 20, 30, 40,000 up to 100,000 lines of credit. You can max them out. It doesn't affect your score. Most of these have 0% interest for 12 to 18 months, which is great because you're literally just taking care of a minimum balance. They all have cash back, travel reward points. So as you're using these for your inventory every month, spending, getting your money back, paying it off, spending, paying it off, you're literally spending and paying it off every month. You're just gaining a bunch of travel reward points. So I don't know if anybody likes to travel here, but I mean, how would you love to travel for free and be able to travel first class for free and be able to get into like private lounges at airports and be able to get pre-check? I mean, that in itself is pretty awesome. Personally, I don't love traveling, but if I could just do it first class and basically use reward points for the rest of my life, I'd be down, right? And the best part about this is when this is set up properly, this all reports to the business, not your personal. So we keep your business separate from your own personal. And it takes a little time to get there, but when you do this right, you have no exposure on your personal, and it's all just on the business, which is great. So in a nutshell, you're going to get OPM, or you can use your own money. That's cool. Use OPM, set up a store, run it for you for 2 years, earn minimum, honestly, 5 to 10K passively. You can either continue earning passive income or sell your store, making a six figure, like honestly, minimum in 2 years, exit. You can pay off your mortgage, retire your parents, travel for free, send your kids to private school, college tuition. Maybe you want to buy another house. Maybe you want to invest in more real estate. Whatever else you want, you now have another stream of income. Maybe this is just to supplement your teaching salary. Maybe it's to supplement whatever else you're doing. The whole point is now you have a little bit more power